How do you develop a campaign strategy? If that's your question, I'm going to give you an answer. Stick with me. I'm going to tell you how to do it step by step. There's three essential components that we're going to cover in this video on how to develop a campaign strategy. The first one is, who are you targeting? The second one is, what are you going to say to that audience? And the third one, we're going to do a deep dive in how you put together the resources to do it. Stay with me. Every campaign begins with research, data, because every campaign involves voters in math and putting together a coalition of people that is the difference between victory and defeat. Your mission is to get more votes than the person you are running against, and that's why it's a math problem at the outset. So I use the term 50% plus 1. In any campaign, how do we get 50% plus 1% of the vote? How many people do we have to target? How many people do we need to get a message to? How does this math work? So let's take this example. In a jurisdiction that is 1/3 Republican, 1/3 non-enrolled voters, and 1/3 Democrat, you can do simple math and you can say, well, if I'm the Democrat and I get the Democrats to vote for me, and if I get a majority of the persuadable voters to vote for me, then that's all that I need, and you would be correct. Let's say you are a Democrat running in a district that's 35% Democrat, 45% Republican, with the remainder in the persuadable or non-enrolled category. Your math is going to be a little different. So here's my point. The first thing you look at in your jurisdiction is partisan affiliation, because Democrats tend to vote for Democrats and Republicans for Republicans, and the people in the middle are persuadable. How much do you need from each of those blocks to win an election? All right, now you got to go beyond party affiliation as you're doing this analysis. You also have to predict the turnout in the election where you're running. You have to look at the demographics of your target audience, their age, their education level, their race, their ethnicity, their income, whether they own a home or not, whether they rent. You got to dig into this stuff and figure out how to put together the bits and pieces of your target audience into what we call a winning coalition. Now, the ways to do that is you slice and dice this electorate and hit them with targeted messages that speak to special problems they're having, depending on their age group, whether they have kids in the house or whether they're older and in need of assistance from home care or something like that. Slicing and dicing is a legitimate way of making special appeals to target audiences in your jurisdiction. That's the essence of targeting. And the first step in putting together a strategy is looking at the math and figuring out what your coalition looks like. Now, the second thing you got to look at is, what are you going to say to these people? You need a campaign message. You've heard people talk about campaign messages. Well, if you're going to put together a strategy, you need to know what yours is. So I'm just going to go through some rudimentary and elemental things that go into that campaign message. What are you going to do for the voters in your jurisdiction? How are you going to improve their quality of life? What wrongs are you going to right? How are you going to elevate their quality of life? Or how are you going to reduce their cost of living? That is element one of your campaign message. The second element is, what are your notions of right and wrong? What are the set of values that guide the decisions that you make? What kind of people do you care about? Do you care about the same kinds of people that your voters care about. You have to make that clear in the course of constructing your message. Otherwise, they won't know what grounds you. Third thing is voters at some point in the campaign need to know that you're qualified to do the job. So tell them just enough about your biography to let them know that you've got your feet on the ground, that you've done some serious things in your life, that you know how to handle that responsibility, and make sure that's part of the message that you disseminate to voters. There's another one that candidates do that is very effective to include in their messaging. It happens toward the end of the campaign. And after you've told voters what you're going to do for them, and after you've told voters what your moral code is, and after you've told voters what makes you qualified, make the choice easy for voters. With great clarity, you, 1, 2, 3, let them know what makes you a better candidate than the person you are running against. Answer that question for voters. Why you? Why not them? Candidates who clarify that decision and make it easy for voters to stare at a piece of paper or watch an ad and make a decision are usually those who win elections. Those are the key components of a campaign message. There are many ways to disseminate your message. There's the cheap, and there's the not so cheap, and there's the expensive. But if you're running in a small jurisdiction, here's the cheap way to do it. It's called elbow grease and shoe leather. Knock on doors. Go talk to people. After you've talked to people and engaged them in a conversation, write them a thank you note. Thank them for the conversation and their time. Put your cell phone number in the little note that you send them and let them know that they should call you, or they can call you at any time they want to. Unleash an army of volunteers to go canvass certain parts of a neighborhood in your jurisdiction. Knock on doors and do that for you, and give them a piece of literature to give to people who answer the door. Organize lit drops at shopping malls on a Saturday afternoon or a Sunday afternoon so that you hit people going in and out of a Costco store or a Target store. Those are ground operations. They are not particularly expensive, but they are effective if you do them well. Now, there's some cheap stuff that you can do. It's called organic posts on social media. Try and do it every day. Post on Facebook, post pictures of you on the campaign trail, post pictures of you with the family, post pictures about issues that you're concerned about, propose solutions to the issues that you're concerned about. Once you start that, keep it up, because posting day after day after day, it doesn't cost a lot of money, but if you're saying interesting things and proposing some bold ideas, you will get traction, you will get likes, and people will start sharing your content to their friends on social media, and you can grow a pretty good group of volunteers and people who want to help you doing it that way on social media. Then there are the expensive, and they're called radio ads, they're called persuasion mail, certain kinds of television ads. Digital ads cost money. They won't break the bank, but they do cost money. So, which leads me to my final point that I mentioned that I was going to talk about in this video. How do you find the resources to disseminate your message? You have to raise money in a political campaign. I know a lot of candidates don't like asking people for money, but I'm going to put it this way. In theory, if you're running for office, you believe in a cause. You believe that cause is important. You want to do something useful for your community. You believe that what it is that you want to do will improve the quality of life in your community. There is no harm in you asking people to help you advance that cause. It's not like you're pocketing the money to go buy a new car. You're asking people to invest in you so you can advance an important cause in your community. If you are a first-time candidate, you have to be involved in helping to raise the money to do it. Now, there are other ways to raise money. If you've got good friends who are willing to call their good friends and ask their good friends to raise money for your campaign. That is called surrogate fundraising. It is done all the time in highbrow political campaigns. There is also email. There is also text messages that people use to send emails. They send text messages to people asking for money, and I should know because each and every day I get at least 10 text messages and at least 30 emails from candidates who are asking me to give. They wouldn't be doing that if they weren't raising money doing it that way. There are also cocktail parties. You can do dinner parties. You can do what we call celebrity events. If you know an author or an athlete who's willing to speak at your celebrity event, you invite people to come to hear the football player talk about the past that won the championship football game, and everybody goes home happy having heard the story of that championship football player. There are also what we call large events without the celebrity. Invite your supporters, invite your friends to come to your Saturday afternoon dog and bean dinner. Tell them to bring the kids. Tell them the whole family eats for $15, and that is yet another way to raise money for a political campaign. Here is the larger point. You can have a great strategy, but that strategy is going to cost money at some point, even if you're just buying pizza for volunteers after a hard day's work. It is incumbent upon you, the candidate, to make sure that you have a budget to fund that advertising effort and to be involved in raising the money to fund it. This is the essence of a campaign strategy. If you would like to know more, I got the perfect gift for you. In the link below this video is another one. How do you create a political campaign strategy? It is longer than the one I just recorded. We do a far deeper dive into the rudiments and fundamentals. Grab a pen, go watch it while this is still fresh in your mind. I wrote an ebook last fall, and the title of it is 12 Essential Steps to Prepare for a Political Campaign. And if you're serious about running for office soon, go to the link below this video, click on it, and download that ebook. You'll enjoy it.